Lord have mercy. The Lord is my shepherd. He know what I want.
There's no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time. Because at least as a rich man, when I have to face my problems, I show up in the back of a limo wearing a $2,000 suit and a $40,000 gold fucking watch.
You didn't put in on this, man.
Better get a receipt, my brother.
Count so much paper, my fingers stay twitching. Weigh it on the scale, had the money kinda glitching. God body flow, roast beef, Thanksgiving. Food for your thoughts, competition serving chitlins. My cadence like the Colonel, all white flipping chickens. Keep the antidote, that cure for the sickness.
Now, first, I'm not a licensed attorney or a tax expert. I do this for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel this information is valuable, you can leave a donation via Cash App, thedonkalam.com or donkalam/donate. You can, I'll take your questions. Let me know what you want to hear. There's a few things I'm going to go over, though. There is a few things I'm going to go over. But the big business conference meeting, don't miss that. Big mansion meeting, man. Got special guests, celebrity guests in the building. That's going to be in Phoenix, Arizona. That's going to be on November 5th and 6th. You don't want to miss that. You do not want to miss that. Peace and love, peace and love. I got a few people in here. You just let me know your questions. If you can put them in the chat. If you can't put them in the chat, I ain't got you on mute. You can mute yourself. But if you get loud, I'll mute you. But if you got some questions, let me know. I will cover that tonight. I've been working on just creating businesses. You got to understand, because when I'm working on just getting rid of debt, trying to go after what's mine, I learned I could be creating something. So, learning the importance of creating your own business, your business profiles, Dun & Bradstreet, learning how to get government contracts. There's so many different ways, man. Loans, business loans. Your bank, when you got a business, your bank will even give you up to $50,000 without really even asking for nothing. They're not going to check anything. This is a fact, especially things like Chase. So I'm telling you, man, be playing to win in this game. Be playing to win. Be playing to hand down things to your future generations to come. That's what you should be thinking about daily. That's where your focus has to be. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I'm in Las Vegas too. I'm going to be in Las Vegas, open to the public, like in second week of September. Go to MalikKilam.com. It's only going to be like $25. But I'm also coming to your city right now for a little bit of nothing. Coming to your city. I will pull up to your city 2 to 3 days. All right? And we're doing virtual meet and greets as well. work with you virtually. So however you want to do this, that's how we're going to figure it out, all right? And I got a lot of information that's going to be coming to you in the next few days. But I want you guys to know you can. Once you start learning the offsetting process with your personal credit, we're not talking business, because business, we want to build that credit. But you're going to want to submit a complaint with the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. All right, you can submit the complaints right online, and I've seen people getting up to $1,000 per complaint that you can actually prove. All right. So the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. So I want y'all to get familiar with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, because when you're learning how to implement these codes and offsetting debt and can prove your claims, you're able to get paid. They'll make sure you get compensated when you can prove. You follow me? When you can prove that. When you can prove your claims. So I want y'all to know that. So the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Next, when submitting debts or even dealing with court, because when you're dealing with court, that is a form of a debt dispute, all right, when you learn about full faith and credit. Now, you're going to want to send a certificate of mailing. This is what a lot of people are doing now. They're sending their own certificates of mailing, because you know the birth certificate is a constructive trust, like it's evidence of a trust. So that's what a certificate is, title of ownership. So you got to get familiar with sending certificates. And this is going to be United States Postal Service PS Form 3817. PS Form 3817. Next. The next form I want you to get familiar with when doing debt disputes and learning how to get compensated correctly, even with the courts. It's going to be United States Post Office Form, the PS Form 3877. 3877. And this is a firm mailing book for accountable mail. So you're just doing the bookkeeping for your mail, man. Get familiar with these forms. I hear some other people joining as well. Let's see who joined there with us today. If you got any questions, let me know. If not, I'm just going to freestyle this. I'm just going to freestyle it. So, I've been working on a lot of materials today. And what I really want you guys to know is about trust. When you start learning about the trust, it starts to make sense. And banking too, when you start learning banking. But I should pull up one of these trusts right now.
Carol.
Hey, peace and love, peace and love.
Peace and love. How are you?
All right, and yourself?
I'm well, thank you. Am I the only one here?
No, there's other people there. They just ain't talking.
Oh, okay. I had a question. I kind of texted you on it earlier in reference to someone wanting to avoid probate. I don't know if you saw the question.
No, why they wanting to avoid probate?
Because they have a will. Someone passed away and made them the executor of their estate. They left them a couple of properties, and they think it's best not to go through probate. Is that recommended, or should they just go through probate?
Well, I mean, if it's in the will, you don't have to go through probate. You just transfer all the property.
Mhm.
And the will's enough power to do it. You just create a trust and transfer it to a trust.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
All right. Makes sense.
Then you can
Is a trust?
Yeah, it states out who is made payable to, correct?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Then you can just transfer it directly to a trust. The person who is the property is left to.
The executor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
And is a trust a trust is taxed, correct?
It depends on how you set it up.
How should it be set up where it's not taxed?
I would set up a regular irrevocable trust.
Irrevocable.
Yeah, but I mean you're gonna want to create a land trust. Create a land trust. Yeah, have. All you're gonna want to do is transfer beneficial ownership. Does that make sense? You just transferring beneficial ownership.
Okay, and a land trust.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a format, a special format for that, or a template for that?
Yeah, I got a template for a land trust. Send me your email. Make sure I get your email. You can text me your email, and I'll make sure you get it.
Alrighty.
Send it right now to the same number you texted earlier.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right.
All right, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Alrighty.
Well, that's what I'm gonna talk about today. And y'all, does anybody else have any more questions? I'm gonna get into the land trust. I'm gonna get into property. Peace and love. How you feeling?
All is well. I was about to ask a question about adding the security agreements with the Quicken Loan business to businesses and things like that, so you pretty much can backdate businesses to your account and whatnot.
What'd you say? Quicken Loan?
Well, Quicken Legal Business, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. You talking about you was using the app?
Well, I got the program. I just got them Dad and the Willard Trust Maker back in the mail. So I'm just trying to actually find out how to connect doing the security agreement with the business.
Yeah. So you're gonna want to have some type of property. I don't care if it's a phone. Make sure it has when you're doing the security agreements, you just make sure you got something you're holding as collateral. You follow me?
All right.
It could be a laptop, man. That laptop could be worth $100,000. They don't know what type of special laptop that is or what type of knowledge it's holding. You follow me?
So you put like the IME number on it or something like that?
Yeah, because when you're doing security agreements, you're attaching something that's collateral.
All right.
That makes sense?
Definitely.
Like you create a security agreement with a bank to get a car, they're attaching the car as collateral. Now, if you want to just set up, like, you're going to need 300 accounts if you want to just report to Experian, but all the credit companies pull from the public records, and that's where that security agreement comes into place. I mean, setting them up between business to business or with your business and your own person.
So say that again. You said Experian, you pretty much need 300.
300 accounts. Yeah.
Transactions.
Yeah. No, you need 300 accounts, different account holders' names. You follow me?
All right.
Yeah.
So,
that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I know Experian always kind of out there with their limits and their numbers as far as what they like to report. So yeah.
If you got a real business going, you got 300 clients, you can issue them lines of credit and can issue them some type of credit, which even if it's with your store, you follow me?
Mhm.
And then 300 accounts. Yeah, you can make yourself part of an account and just play with the numbers. That's all I mean. I'm not saying do anything illegal. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but you can create contracts between yourself and the business.
So making the clients would come up as just pretty much, I see that I would have to report at least 300 for it to actually make it to Experian for even those customers. Yeah,
if you're doing that with Experian, they just need they need you to have 300 separate accounts, like 300 social security numbers, 300 names. They need that actual information those actual contracts, because you're reporting that information. It's kind of like what you're talking about with doing with the security agreements.
All right, appreciate it. Give thanks.
You're welcome. I got another question. They said, can a private trust acquire credit? Yes, a private trust can acquire credit, but you're going to have to bring it to the public side. So you create this trust, and you're going to have to create, like how I create trust credit is if you take a trust, you create a trust corporation with the Secretary of State, then it's going to be like, it's going to show as a C corporation, even though it is a private trust corporation. And then you build business credit that way. But make sure you got the virtual address. It has to be an actual business address. So we use virtual addresses. Make sure you got a business phone number, an email, all of that. But some states don't like you having trust in the actual name when you're establishing these things. Now with the ministry trust, what I want y'all to understand is when you're setting up a ministry trust, I'll show y'all how easy this is. So with the ministry trust, it's going to be a 50C1A. When you're implementing your trust, and it looks like a charity trust, all right? So, but when you're establishing it on the public side, it's going to look like a 501c3. But in the mission statement of your non-for-profit, you're going to put, this is a 508c1A, faith-based non-profit trust. You follow me? That's what you're going to put in the mission statement. So you still don't have to file no taxes, no forms, and then you could still get grants. You could still get credit. You could still basically operate on the public side as a 501c3. The difference is you don't have to file nothing with the IRS to show that you're exempt from taxes. You may with the state, though. You may with the state. But it's going to look like you're a 501c3, and that just limits your freedom of speech where you can't speak on politics.
With a 501c3, correct?
Yeah, that's if it's pure 501c3. But when you establish it in your state like it's a 501c3, but in your mission statement you're just putting that it's a 508c1A.
And you need an EIN?
If you're going to want to get a bank account and establish business credit, yes. But if you want to remain separate, that's where you learn the WA-BEN way.
Man, I gotta hire you. I got so many situations going on, and I can't. Well, in time, I'll put it that way, in time, because you put everything on the table, and a lot of people, I've been following these different avenues from different people. I've seen people get jammed up from, following people giving misinformation. But you always show and prove, and I've been following you since about November or December of last year. And, I listen to you, and I respect, how you operate. You always upfront and honest.
I appreciate that. I want you, because when you see the code, so like, I think, here's how I feel, man. This is how I feel. I'm not saying this is necessarily true because I don't watch everybody, okay? So
right.
I feel like some of the so-called SPC gurus got you focused on common law, but I'm telling you, these white folks don't understand common law. I don't want to keep fighting. I ain't got time to keep fighting. So when you learn the codes and statutes, and I'm telling you, when you learn how to just implement federal codes and statutes, the states are going to have to bow down to that.
That's it.
But there's even, if you go find your own state statutes, I guarantee it's going to correlate with the federal statutes. It's the same shit.
Yeah.
So you just got to learn it. But I learn from other gurus too. I pay people to learn this knowledge too. So, but if you're not studying, you're not gonna understand what I'm saying. That's how I look at it.
No, I understand perfectly what you're saying, and you gotta study. That's it. It ain't.
Yeah, and face your
nothing
own
is
inner
free.
demons too. Don't be scared to face them, because that's what's gonna bring clarity. Because you can't just I'm not gonna say don't put a lot of work into this, but you still gotta make sure you get that alone time, and that's what I want people to understand as well.
Mhm.
You gotta make sure you get a little time by yourself. That's when you're gonna gain clarity. If you had time just to yourself, that's when you knew your old friend was gonna fuck you over, because the signs was already there. You follow me?
Yes, I know what you mean.
All you had to do was get a little alone time.
Right.
So I'm gonna bring up my trust book right now. We're gonna go over some of that stuff too.
Yes, I got one more question.
Yeah, what is it? Peace and love.
So does our pretty much our state trust go under the ministry trust with 8832?
I do not file no forms.
Oh, you did say no IRS forms.
Yeah, because if any form I'm gonna file is gonna be an irrevocable trust with the IRS. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
I'm just trying to connect how we'll pretty much connect our trust with the ministry.
You create a ministry trust. It's a charitable trust. You gotta understand, ministry and a convention is the same thing. I'm gonna go over all that too. I'm just trying
Talking about a charitable remainder trust.
It's close. It's something like it.
All right.
It's something like it, but it's all irrevocable. And you can really need one person, but it's better when you have two people.
As a separate trustee, pretty much.
Yeah, but I've seen just one person open it up.
But you have to have a grantor, right?
You can go and open one up, and you can use a business as a grantor. You follow me?
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
That's how it works. There's so many different ways around the trust. But what I like about this one, which I'm about to go over, I'm about to open it up right now, and I'm gonna let y'all see it. So you don't have to show them everything, but when the courts start digging deep, that's when they want to see stuff. So that's when you want to make sure you have a tax shelter. You want to make sure everything is implemented correctly.
Peace and love, little family. Support John Salam. Also known as Wow. It's always prosperity is the boat.
Okay. Should I just hang up the phone?
The Declaration of Independence, that's an express trust.
Be sure to leave a donation on the
Everybody send me an email. I'll make sure y'all get this book. Send it at sales@malikkilam.com. sales@malikkilam.com. So this is a tax code and a statute. 508C1A. It's gonna be in the United States codes as well. And the 508C1A is a faith-based organization, non-profit, tax-exempt organization. It's separate and distinct from a 501c3 charity and unincorporated faith-based organizations. The 508C1A is applicable in all 50 states and recognized internationally under the Hague Convention of the United Nations Charter. Since its inception in 1954 with the Johnson Amendment, the 501c3 has been promoted and advertised by many as the only option to organizing a faith-based organization. This is fatally incorrect. Federal law, IRS publications, and court cases all confirm and establish the rights and protections of the 508c1A. The 508c1A enjoys a mandatory exception from all the restrictions a 501c3 has, including free speech restrictions. And that's the main thing people don't understand, is the free speech restrictions that are on a 501c3. If you like, I said, if you want this book, it sells at malikkilam.com. SALES at MALIKKILAM.com. Faith-based organizations can be organized and operate under Section 508C1A of the tax code, the same as they can be organized and operate any other section of the tax code. A 508C1A faith-based organization has a constitutional and legal right to form. Therefore, there is no required application to seek approval of the tax-exempt status, nor any tax form obligations to file. Say that again. There's no approval of a tax-exempt status, nor any tax form obligations to file. But I want you to understand that certain states and certain places might give you issues with this. That's why you have to be recognized in the public as well, because the public and the private really can't mix. So that's when you create the 501. You create this 501 as the nonprofit, the 501c3, and put that as a 508c1a in the mission statement, and that's enough. All 50 states allow you to register as a 508c1a. There's no such thing as a separate law to form a 508c1a. A 501c1a is actually a 501c3 registered with the state only. On the Articles of Incorporation, you will fill it out exactly as you would a 501c3 with the organization name. They will ask on the form what your primary purpose is. Simply answer, we are operating as a 508c1a. Poof, your organization is now 508c1a. Specify this in your charter or bylaws as well. And then the EIN is just an irrevocable trust. It's really that simple. Like, I don't know what else more you need. Now, that is it. You do not need to file for any status to the federal government. The exception is if you have paid priests or employees, then you'll do taxes. There might be taxes on that. Now, under federal law, 508c1a is automatically tax exempt at the federal level. It can give tax deductible receipts for donations, freedom of speech as indicated, include but not limited to politics, initiatives, and candidates, can ordain and license its own leaders. With proper filing with the state, it may receive a sales tax exemption certificate. And when two or more come together, you're a convention or a ministry or a congregation. You follow me? If you got followers, that's your congregation. It's just all about the verbiage. You're not receiving income, you're receiving donations. You can't say income. And then if your name's a business, you can just donate to your name. You follow me? Everything is a donation or everything is a gift. Don't have paid employees, you have private contractors. If you have a paid employee, then you do have to file IRS forms, all right? Understand that. That's all in here. It breaks it down how to do it. But look, I'm going to tell you something. Just even if you have a regular irrevocable trust, I'm going to give you a game right now. I'm going to give y'all some game, and then I'm going to show you on land trust. So the actual trust that I utilize has tax shelters, all of that in it, all right? But you could use, because I had a student that was just on the call, and obviously he'd been listening. He'd been paying attention, he'd been taking notes. He got 2 apps. He was talking about clicking Legal Business Pro, and then he got the Will and Trust Maker. And that's real shit, man. That's real shit. Let me just pull up the actual trust. Listen, now you can use one of those irrevocable trusts, right? And in the process, You're going to want to change a few things if you understand what you're doing. Don't do it if you don't understand what you're doing. You should not deal with this. You should get you an attorney or somebody who's educated. Now, I always use virtual addresses so far when dealing with these people, okay? I don't give these people anything that's tied to me. Someone said I'm educated. I appreciate that. Make sure that you're educated, all right? Now, anything that's in the property, you're going to describe them in the schedules. Schedule A, Schedule B, Schedule C. They all have their different purposes, all right? Depending on the trust that you're setting up. Someone asked about a charitable trust. Mine's set up similar to a charitable trust. Now, in the bylaws, you're going to want to put it in there. The tax-exempt purposes. I'm showing you right here. The tax-exempt purposes. And we're not talking about funds or income. We're only talking about grants and donations. That's what you need to understand. We're only talking about grants and donations. There's no income in this. Now, the trust is organized and shall be administered, distributed, and operated executively for charitable and educational purposes within the meaning of the Internal Revenue Code 508 C1a, benefits for faith-based organization. Churches, integrated, auxiliaries, and associations of churches do not have to apply as a 501c3 in order to be exempt and offer tax deductibility for contributions. All organizations seeking tax-exempt status must apply to the IRS except faith-based organizations. Faith-based organizations can be formed under Section 508 C1a and enjoy mandatory exceptions from these requirements of the code. It's really that simple. Breaking it down. That has to be in your bylaws. That has to be in the trust bylaws. Something to that effect. Alright? Make sure that is on your certificate of trust or whatever you're giving to the bank. It breaks down how you do the grant reporting and record keeping. This trust breaks everything down, the one I have established for you. I want you to understand that. But all you have to show them is the trust certification or the trust declaration. I got people blowing me up today. I see somebody put something in the chat. I'm sorry, my computer moving slow too. Let's see if I can pull this chat up so I can read what y'all talking about.
How much detail is in there?
And if you find this information valuable, you already know what to do. Leave a donation. The Cash App is the Don Kilam. Now, I'm going to post this on the YouTube later, so ain't no worries. It is intended that this trust be exempt from U.S. federal income tax as an organization described in the Internal Revenue Code. That's it. And then I told you what to do when you set it up with the state. Yes. I'm putting the Cash App in the chat too. Go to DonKilam.com/donate. blowing me up. Now, I want to touch on some things because I don't know if I really gave her clarity. I want to make sure I give her everything that I know and have help people utilize, all right? When dealing with property. There's a few different things I would do, okay? And you see I've just been talking about this stuff. So you got to learn about how to convey this stuff, all right? I'm going to make sure you get all this stuff. So I'll make sure you get the Ministry Trust book. And I'll make sure you get the actual land trust agreement if you want to learn about land trust. And I'll give you some more stuff on notarial titles and reconveyance. But the land trust, when dealing with that, with any property, the beneficial ownership, and you can do this with a bill of sale or a regular agreement, all right? The beneficial interest needs to be sold to the land trust. So say it's 420 High Street. From here on out, it's going to be called the 420 High Street Trust. The 420 High Street Trust. You no longer mention it as the actual street. You took it out of a different jurisdiction. It's private. Now it's in the land trust. All right. Now you are going to have to reconvey the deeds. All right, and reconvey the title and put this on the record with the county of deeds. All right. Make sure that happens. Now, when dealing with this, they say it's in a will, and the will left the land to somebody. You can create a deed out of this and take that to the county deeds records. You have to update the county deeds records because it's not what you know, it's what's on the record. Because that's what's facts. Now, you also want to learn how to create a notarial title on a land patent. Alright, but first, what I would do is maybe, because like I said, I like to do stuff on the private side. So I'm always dropping knowledge, I appreciate that. I like to do stuff on the private side, but still have a record on the public of different things. So, what I would do is create a holding company. Alright? I would show, actually, I would have a private agreement from the holding company in the trust. I would sell the property to the holding company in one of the 5 charging order protection states, okay? And the 5 states that provide charging order protection to single member LLCs is going to be Alaska, South Dakota, Nevada, Delaware, Wyoming. This is why I love Nevada. And you can stay anonymous as well. You don't even know who the owner is. So they can't even tax you. But I use virtual addresses because they can't tax a virtual address. They can't tax a virtual location. I need you to understand that. Yes, I like to create the holding company first. The holding company is just like a trust. But the holding company will sell the beneficial interest to the trust. Now, whatever state you're actually living in, that is your operating company. That's where you create your operating company, and your operating company is going to be member managed. Okay? Member managed. You can make it manager managed. Listen, you just got to make sure that it's owned by your holding company. Alright? Your holding company, if you look up my record label, Goodyear Records in Arizona, it's owned by Source Capital Group. Alright? So, if there's ever, say, a creditor is to try to take this property from you, or say you got a property and you got people living in it. Well, if the holding company owns it and you're in Georgia, then you have no jurisdiction. They're not going to hear you because all Nevada rules apply wherever you're at. Now, if I set my holding company up in Nevada and then I set up the operating company in Georgia and then I'm renting out houses in Georgia, then the courts will hear me. You know, I can collect my money, they can force payment because now I'm operating in their state. But when it comes to taxes, the owner resides, whoever set it up, in one of these charging order protection states. And I'm going to go over this, the benefits. I've gone over this a lot. It works really good with real estate, but this works with anything, any assets. Any assets you want to truly protect. Benefits. Some benefits of a Nevada LLC. No state income, corporate, or franchise taxes. No taxes on corporate shares of profits. Private protections for owners choosing to be anonymous. No operating agreements or annual meeting requirements. That's it. That's it. You got to understand how to operate. I don't have to pay taxes, none of that. The reason why I don't have to pay taxes, I can remain anonymous if I want to. Let me pull up this picture and see what it says. Like, you can remain anonymous. And it's the same way in Wyoming, Nevada, all the charging order protection states. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. CA Mabry sent a donation. I appreciate that. Well, I just want y'all to see that now. There's different ways. Now, let me say something else. So I have done this as well. I'm not saying this is the right way or the wrong way, but say some property was left to you and the courts are holding it up. It's somebody that passed away. Well, have you ever thought about creating a fictitious name in that person's name and then having the authorized rep go ahead and create contracts and notary agreements? I'm just saying, it's the name. That's how we operate. It's all about the contracts. Y'all learn how to create the contracts correctly. I can show you how to get on mortgages, all types of stuff, man. But I want y'all to know what's going on with the trust. Then I'm gonna touch the reconveyance a little bit too, because they do need to know a little bit about reconveying. Now I'm gonna make sure y'all get this document too. This is course 8. Everybody that sends me that email tonight. This is gonna break down the straw man trust. Don't skip the vocab like I'm doing. You need to read it. But there's reconveyance right there. Let me go up to the reconveyance. Conveyance. The transfer of title from one person to another. An instrument in writing under seal by which some estate or interest in lands is transferred from one person to another. Reconveyance. It takes place where a mortgage debt is paid off and the mortgage property is conveyed again to the mortgagor or his representatives free from the mortgage debt. Have you ever wondered why the banks use the term reconveyance? If conveyance means the transfer of title, then does reconveyance mean the transfer title back to you? Did you know that you had interest in the land before you ever walked into the title company to sign your loan? Now that you have issued a promissory note to the bank and they have acknowledged your payment by admitting that it is a security and that it is executed, the deed of trust at the time you gave them the promissory note. Since the bank did not record the promissory note, it is not registered. So instead of waiting for the bank as beneficiary of the deed of trust to do this, you do it as settler of the trust. Take out a copy of your promissory note and sign it as settler, the one who furnished the consideration. Now you are accepting the promise that the trustor, the straw man, made to the bank and therefore discharging the debt by using your exemption. Then record the note and have the county recorder, the public fiduciary, register it and do a service of process on the bank by mailing it to them. Pursuant to the contract deed of trust, they must give you a full reconveyance. If you have not received a full reconveyance in 10 days, then contact the notary and do a process that will give you a certificate of reconveyance. Then record the reconveyance yourself as settler for the bank because they are in breach of the contract at this time. breach, the breaking or violating of a law, right, or duty, either by commission or omission. I'm going to show y'all. Time is. Alright, I'm still rocking with y'all, man. I'm going to make sure y'all get this information. It breaks down the secure party's rights. Look, see, when people talk about secure party, they're just, when you claim secure party, you're the one that issued the credit, and you got to be able to prove it. If you got a social security number, you issued the credit. It's that simple. And if you're just now following along, I just want to show you this real quick and why I say this. If you've been following me for a while, you already know. Who owns the national debt? The national debt, your credit comes from the trust side. You got Mini Global in the building, peace and love. Your credit comes from the trust side. So who owns the national debt? Most headlines focus on the United States owes China. But what most people don't know is Social Security Trust Fund, also known as your retirement money, owns most of the national debt. The U.S. Treasury manages U.S. debt through the Bureau of Public Debts. The debt held by the public is 78%. The national debt is $28.1 trillion, so they owe the people the public holds $21 trillion. That's it. $21 trillion is what the public holds. Let me go back to what I was reading. So the purpose, as a creditor of the United States, because you have a Social Security number and you're holding due course of the Social Security Trust, as a creditor of the United States and all other sub-corporations, private and public, you are owed interest for the gold and all property that you loan them. There is no money. In order to start getting your interest back, you must notice your debtors and what you expect them to do and the consequences if they do not comply. This file contains all the documents you will need to register your promissory note that you've already paid the bank, and as a result, get your house conveyed back to you, or as they termed it, a full reconveyance. The notice of reconveyance, all it is forms and notes and private contracts. The notice of reconveyance is for the return of your equity, your house. When you sign a promissory note in your house, the banks have used your note, and now as their seller, you want the equity and the rents back. So this is the reconveyance right here I'm showing you. I'm screen sharing it in the private class. When you send me an email, make sure you get it. It's going to be at sales@MalikKilam.com. My apologies. Sales@MalikKilam.com. SALES at MalikKilam.com. Make sure I get your email address tonight only. I'll make sure you get these documents. Ain't no thing. Certificate of reconveyance, full reconveyance, you need to learn about it. So when you sign mortgages, promissory notes, all these things with these banks, because a bank cannot own land. You gotta understand that. A bank cannot own land. They're converting the land to property and getting you to sign on as a bait and switch. You're really an investor. You're paying them as an investor on their part. They create a private trust. You're paying a trust, and you're investing in this trust. And then they securitize these agreements and put them on Wall Street. That's really what's going on. So you learn how to reconvey, learn about reconveyance. You can get your house back. Land trust. Put that stuff on the county deeds, and boom, it's your house. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We got Chance. Chance sent me a donation. Appreciate you. I'll make sure y'all get this. And it also shows you how to discharge different debts. I will make sure y'all get my debt dispute letter as well tonight. And let me show y'all that. Because I want y'all to understand truly what's going on. But build your business credit. I want you to build your business credit though. Yeah, I'm recording this. I'm going to post it on YouTube tonight. I want you to build your business credit. Now, in my debt dispute letter, they're different than the rest, okay? And I'm going to want you to attach. You leave it blank because you got to understand everything is a tax issue. Because if you don't, all courts are tax courts. It's that simple. All courts are tax courts. 28 U.S.C. 3002. We're going to go to what court means. Because if we don't settle this matter, this debt, it goes to court, right? Don't they take you to court and sue your ass? So look, court means any court created by the Congress of the United States, excluding the United States tax court. So you need to understand everything's a tax issue, but you fill in the wrong forms, you're in the wrong status, turn your name to a business, and things are going to be different. You can learn how to maneuver differently. So, everything's a tax issue. Peace and love. I'm a straight hustler. God love it. I'm bringing y'all the truth, though. I hustle truth. Now, I need y'all to see this form right here. When you get a bank account, whatever, it's a Form W-9. Request for taxpayer identification number and certification. So attach the blank W-9. Attach the blank W-9. If your name's a business, attach the certificate of status of business, alright? Attach that shit. Now, back to the dispute letter. Where the dispute letter at? Boom. I'm going to show you why mine's different. Now, I do put a $1 stamp on my dispute letter or a 2-cent stamp. Send them a promissory note, a postal money order, all of that. And what you put in, just put it in the memo box. Hey, this is paid off. You accept this payment. They got you. Now, I'll be happy to settle any financial obligation I might lawfully owe as soon as I've received the following documentation from you. And that's going to be validation of the debt, the actual accounting. Validation of the debt, the actual accounting. Verification of your claim sworn against me, a sworn affidavit or a hand-signed invoice in accordance with the Bills of Exchange Act. And they can't give you nothing handwritten because they're corporations. They're corporations. The owner better pull up with something, and the owner is not. You need to understand that. And I always put Uniform Commercial Codes, Federal Fair Credit Reporting Act, the state statutes. Most of these businesses don't even have a license to do business in the state that they're operating in. And that's what I was telling you earlier. How you, if you have assets, you can protect your assets and enforce your claims because you got your holding company and then your operating company. They're not even usually licensed to do business in the state. They're trying to enforce you to pay this debt in. Think about that. Ask them, are you licensed to do business in this state? Do you have a license to do business in this state? Then you don't have jurisdiction to enforce your claims. Prove that you have. I got you. Prove it, you know? You gotta prove this shit. I let them know I'm a national. Trading with the Enemy Act. Let them know about all of that. I know about all of that. I'm a defiant. I know about the DTCC, Depository Trust Company. I know what y'all doing. There's no money, and no one can ask for a specific payment in a specific coin. That's unlawful. If you knew the law, you would know that. And I'm always saying I'm in a fight, because a person is only liable for debt. I need you to know that. And you need to know the codes. If you don't know the codes, you need to get used to them. You don't even know what a debt is. Debt is something owed to the United States. That means amount that is owing to the United States on the account of a direct loan or loan insured or guaranteed. You don't even know the true definitions. You don't even know the true definitions. And I appreciate the donation, Antoine. You don't even, you got to know the definitions, man. United States means a federal corporation. Just keep going down. That's my debt dispute letter. I'll make sure y'all get that, man. Y'all got any more questions? I label everything as evidence, too. So, they got to put it on the record. If they don't, then that's tampering with evidence. You can sue them for that. As long as you got your name as a business, you can implement your fee schedules because everything is corporate. A sovereign does not use cash. A sovereign doesn't want anything to deal with the system, so don't let them ever label you as a sovereign. You want to play this game. You want to see your authorized rep. You're the executor or whoever. You know, maybe you're the president of the corporation. Learn something that means something to you, that makes sense to you. You know how to operate. If I say I am a member or a manager of my business, then that's my status. All right? So how do you donate? The Cash App is the Don Kilam, THEDONKILAM, THEDONKILAM, or you can go to donkilam.com/donate if you don't have Cash App. Appreciate that. I appreciate the love and support. Nah, man, don't explain how to use the 1-cent stamp or the $1 stamp, but you just put the stamp on top of your document and sign through it. You're the postmaster. I do this after I get it notarized. I do this after I get it notarized, though. I don't do it before. And then I flip it over on the back on every single document. I do this on every single document. I flip it over on the back and I sign it just like a check, and I put all rights reserved or all rights retained. I like to sign in blue or purple. But even if you sign in black, it'll still work. Again, if y'all want the documents that I went over tonight, I'm going to just give it away free, but donations are always appreciated. You can send an email tonight, just put documents in the subject line or whatever. I know what you want. And I'll make sure you get it. We went over the dispute letter. We went over my ministry trust book. We went over the land trust. And we went over reconveyance. And I'm going to send you something about allodial titles and how to register that title with the Department of Interior so you can make it tribal. They won't even mess with you. They won't even come on your land. If I ain't got no more questions, I'm out, man. I appreciate the love and support. Much peace and love. Remember, prosperity is your birthright. Go to MalikKalam.com, DonKalam.com, A2Z Business Estates.com. We got Kush Snacks with the Z, Kuch Snacks, SANCKZ.com. Check that out, man. We got the edibles come straight to your door. We got the nationality travels. We got the plates. We got the IDs. I'm endorsing all these businesses. We coming straight to your door. Peace and love. Peace and love. Straight to your doorstep. We making it happen. I don't know if I got, yeah, that's in my other wallet. So I'll show y'all the nationality IDs. Like, it says business trust right on it. But with that amount, much peace and love. Remember, prosperity is your birthright.
Thank you.